This will be a chapter that most of us will remember in the years to come.
We have decided that instead of tightening incrementally over the next few weeks, we should make a decisive move now to preempt escalating infections. We will therefore impose significantly stricter measures. This is like a circuit breaker. This circuit breaker will apply for 1 month in the first instance. And this, in turn, will allow us to relax some of the measures.
Ever since university started, I can count with one hand the number of times I've been at home for consecutive days. I was always out studying or hanging out with my friends late into the night. This is not something that I'm proud of, but home was more like a pit stop to spend the night, or occasionally have a home-cooked dinner with my family. One month of virtual lockdown, I was pretty certain that my internal circuit was going to break. I believe that was the same case for many other Singaporeans who did everything they were told not to do. Streets were full of people, and shelves were stripped bare. In a small city where streets are always bustling with activity, we all knew what 1 month of staying at home meant. And on the 7th of April, our world came to a stop. Do you remember the last time you saw the streets this empty during the rush hour? All I remember was sharing this tiny country with massive crowds for the past 23 years. And now, it makes me wonder, where have they gone? It turns out, going to the supermarkets is a big thing now. When Singaporeans get deprived of the shops they used to frequent, groceries suddenly become so much more interesting. I guess it is a period of adjustment for everyone, and a phenomenon like this is part and parcel of a major disruption to our daily lives. Perhaps Singaporeans spend so much time outside that their homes feel too foreign for them to stay in for too long. As for me, I've made an effort to only go to these places when I really need to, and not to use them to escape home. Life feels really mundane now. I wake up to the sound of Mom's conference calls, and I spend the whole day going through lessons, meetings, and assignments, all on a tiny desk.
So I put it under like pre-model.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, but I think that one is cause like very domain specific.
Yeah, it's very technical.
It makes me feel like a bird stuck in a cage. In fact, it can get pretty depressing at times. Without coffee running through my veins, it's hard to see a meaning in a life like that. And before I knew it, I had already spent a few days behind the bars of this little prison. I miss my friends, and I miss my whole life. Well, to be fair about this period, it's good that I pretty much have every day to myself now. To maintain my sanity, I came up with a few tips for myself. It really helps a lot that I am an introvert, but keeping in contact with friends helps a lot as well. I've also made it a point to catch the sunsets, and get in touch with nature. Also, I try to keep myself occupied by learning new things. And I guess a healthy body leads to a healthy mind as well. Not having to move from place to place, there are some days where I end up being more productive than I've ever been. And on some other days, the day can pass and nothing gets done.
Email.
12 consecutive days. I have not spent such a long time at home before. All of us have more or less adjusted to the new work life. In this period, I got to see how mom and dad behave in their workplace. Well, it's actually pretty much like at home. Mom is talking all the time, and dad, he's mostly just minding his own business. I think I inherit a lot from dad. And I forgot to mention, I have a sister as well, who was supposed to sail the world, but is now residing in safe harbours far away from home. At the moment, what lies ahead is uncertain, but leaving her responsibilities behind and returning to Singapore is certainly out of the question.
I mean, they really.
It was also during this period that I've realised I've been so busy with life that I've barely noticed her absence from home. I thought I was halfway there.
We have to make this strong push to decisively break the transmission chain. The measures that we've just announced will be in place till the 4th of May. Beyond that, we will continue with the circuit breaker for another 4 weeks to 1st of June.
But to be honest, I think I've developed a liking for the life as it is now. All 24 hours of the day are fully in my hands, and my schedule is not tied to anyone or any organisation. I think mom likes the freedom
Working
as
from
well.
home. This is my gardening to pass time. To make myself happy lah. Gardening. See, I thought I got green finger. 每天要煮番薯粥，这是 organic 的，一个这样一包7块，贵哦，很美，那个番薯很重。这给你啊。
Mom even mentioned that she wants to start exercising soon. And she has also stopped complaining that I'm always not at home. But with all the time that's in my hands, I realized that I'm spending 2 hours every day on average watching nonsense. I decided to go the extra mile to socially distance myself and turn this into a personal retreat. These days, I have more time to catch up with schoolwork, friends, and even on my favourite Netflix series at night. Life is surprisingly really good the way it is now. In retrospect, amidst the ups and downs of my outlook towards this new lifestyle, everything was pretty pleasant throughout. I think many people have it much harder, and my troubles paled in comparison to theirs. There are the healthcare workers in the front line. There are people who lost their jobs. and there are people whose life has been turned upside down by the situation. In an effort to appreciate the frontline healthcare workers and migrant workers in this difficult time, we sang along to our all-time favourite National Day song as a nation at 7:55 PM. It felt heartening to witness people come together for a collective effort to lift the morale. And my mom felt especially so.
我都不会唱他的英文的。等一下啊。
Singapore prides itself on its meritocratic system, which makes all of us incredibly competitive. We are often so absorbed in our own lives that we forget to slow down and look out for each other in the community. In the past month, many societal issues have surfaced, and we have finally started giving them the necessary attention.
Another round of 152 workers. A strong encouragement for all around that really care for migrant workers to really stand up and speak on their behalf.
Singaporeans have also made more active efforts to lift the community spirit, which we don't usually see. It made me realize that despite our physical disconnection with each other, the lockdown has, in reality, made us more connected as a community than ever before. In the past month of solitude, I made an effort to witness as many sunrise and sunsets as I could. I realized that these spectacular sights were always there, whether I had the time for them or not. And it has become apparent that amidst the changing landscapes in the world today, the little constants and beauty start to stand out. It was a time that I reconnected with my family, and a time that made me cherish my friendships more deeply. It was also a time that my lifestyle became healthier, and I got to enjoy home-cooked food regularly. I also managed to save more money, and Mom has forced me to become more environmentally friendly. It was a protected time of solitude that allowed me to rekindle my interests, re-evaluate my graduation plans, and more importantly, to reconnect with myself. And now, the 1 month mark that previously dawned upon me is drawing near. In engineering terms, a circuit breaker is an automatic switch that interrupts the current flow when there is an excess current that could damage the circuit. In the same way, I think what was supposed to kick my life out of equilibrium reintroduced balance instead. It felt so much more than just a circuit breaker to me. It felt like a rewiring of perspectives, and it served as a reminder of the truly important things in life.